Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome everyone to the Narrative Podcast. Narrative Podcast is the home of original people, positivity, and reciprocity. And I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. Happy weekend. I pray you all had a good, productive week. If not, hey, it's always next week. But thanks for tuning in today to the Narrative Podcast. So my narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know, what my platform is about and what I'm trying to accomplish with my content. But for those that's newly tuning in and just hit me up on the Random Browse, I'm going to just give you a brief overview of my content and what my platform is about. So let's take it from the top, Tippy. Starting at the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named it the Narrative Podcast because I feel that the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. So like our people and our culture, I get to the original part in a sec. So to combat that, what I want to do is create a platform where I'm celebrating our successes and highlighting us excelling and achieving and accomplishing feats of excellence, being leaders, being entrepreneurs, just basically the opposite of how we're portrayed in the media. Secondly, the media intentionally does it. They do this, they market this propaganda about our people and our culture intentionally to sell news, intentionally for entertainment purposes, intentionally to cement or what's the word I'm searching for? Solidify the dominant society's position in life. Basically, putting out all these negative stereotypes and highlighting or playing up all the negative nuances that we have within our culture to make us look unappealing and make us look a certain way. Basically, make us look like degenerates, not kings, not queens, but just real negative. So this is what my platform is dedicated to, is just putting out the truth, because like I said, the media intentionally misrepresents us. My ultimate takeaway I want from my listening audience to understand is how important it is to share positive content, put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture on social media as much as possible. That's why I call my target audience my narrators, because we are content creators to some capacity, and then also, whatever you post online is pretty much a representation of you. This is your carbon footprint these days about whatever content that you're posting with like any type of platform you have. People associate you with the content that you post. So just imagine if we're all posting gang culture, gun culture, pimp culture, whore culture, thought culture, bully culture, violence culture. If we're always posting that online, people outside of our culture, that's what they're going to perceive us as. Because all the frames of reference that they have about us are negative frames of reference, and it's given to them by the media just for that purpose. Um, there's billions of dollars to be made from making us appear and seem like something that we are not. So basically, that's what my platform is dedicated to, just basically telling our story correctly, representing us correctly. Matter of fact, that's my tagline, the Narrative podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. So, that's what I try to, achieve in this little audio space that I'm currently occupying right now. So, yeah, now that you know what my podcast is about, let me dive into the original part. I said I was going to get to the original part. On my platform, I refer to our people as original people as opposed to black. For this specific reason, I believe the word original is more powerful than black. Now, don't get me wrong, in early civilization and many dialects of our original tongue and languages, written languages, black meant something positive, black meant something powerful, but colonizers, aka the powers that be, flipped the narrative on that and made it mean something negative. And it resides in our subconscious as something negative. They put it in dictionaries, in like printed text, and taught us it meant something negative. So like you go in any dictionary, any thesaurus, you look up the word black, you will see the first thing it does is denotes, origin. That's the only color in the dictionary that denotes origin. It'll say, original or indigenous people descending from Africa. And then they'll have all these negative nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and example sentences describing the word black or the way you should use the word black. And they're all negative. Like, there's like black, dirty, desolate, depressed. And they'll give, an example sentence, today I felt black. Or like I was like, you know what I mean? Just associating black with any and everything negative. The most common thing associated with the word black is death. Black also symbolizes, the way it's set up in the English language, is the end of all things. Now, the inverse of the word black is the word original in the dictionary. That means just like the opposite of black. Basically, well, why don't you just say white? Well, I'm getting to it. Now, original, in the dictionary means like good. Like it really hints at being the first, and in many cases the best. And I've actually if you've been listening to me, I'm like almost 200 episodes in. I've actually read, black and original on my platform before, but I'm not going to do that today because another thing I do on here is try to be time conscientious. I try to, keep everything nicely, neatly packaged into a 1 hour time slot. And I'll get to that in a minute too. But first I'm going to just wrap up this original thing. So, original often symbolizes the beginning of or the best. And I think that's more befitting to describe our people because we were and are the original men and women of this planet. we are the original inhabitants of Earth. There wasn't one place, or not one place on the globe that we didn't originally inhabit. Like, contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't get scattered all throughout the globe via the transatlantic slave trade nor chattel slavery. We just, like, in many places, especially in the Americas, we was already here. Now, slavery did happen, and a lot of us did come over via slave boats, but not the majority of us. The majority of us was already here. Majority of us was already in Latin Americas. Majority of us was already in, the Mediterranean. Majority of us was already in, like, Australia and parts of Asia and just wherever. But, so, like, and another point, original means you, like, created things. Like, we originated pretty much everything. We originated written and spoken language. We originated the alphabet. We originated measuring time. We originated paper. We originated science, mathematics, alchemy. Pretty much, we are the original architects. We are the original philosophers, teachers. Pretty much, you name it, we originated it. And I think that's the qualifying factor to refer to us as original as opposed to black. And then another thing is the word original also unifies us because there's so many different types of us hailing from so many different parts of the world. It's a kind of an all-inclusive term because, like, you got brothers from Haiti, you got brothers from, like, the islands, Jamaica, over in Europe, like UK, Germany, Italy, but we got one common thing. We can all trace our origins back to Africa. If we're melanated, we can all go back to Africa. So, like, original binds us because we got so many titles, we're caught up in all these titles that we call ourselves, African American, Haitian American, this or that, but original kind of like, that's an all-inclusive term no matter where you're at in the world. You can't not help but be original. You're the original man and the original woman. And that, puts a stop to all that division. Okay, so now you got the gist of that. I'm going to do a disclaimer before I dive into my content. First and foremost, this is a monetized platform, so you will experience ads. Don't fast forward after you start hearing ads. Just hang on to the end. This is how I pay my bills. You will be rewarded with content, but with the monetization thing, if you know anything about online, how all that stuff works, it is what it is. But ads, you will experience ads while listening to my podcast. I'm recording right now, so I won't know where they'll place the ads until after I've recorded it and uploaded it to, the various platforms. So that's just a heads up. Also, like I said, I try to make this time conscientious. When I first started doing podcasting, I had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. So now that I have a specific goal in mind, which is to, like, uplift and edify my people and, put us in a positive light, I wanted to be more efficient, develop a more efficient way to do it. So, because when I first started podcasting, I would just hit go, hit the start button and just start talking and talking and talking. Didn't have any, designated topics, things I wanted to talk about or touch on, you know, and for that I didn't get the desired effects that I wanted. So I took a step back, thought to myself, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to accomplish in my space? And like I told you, what I wanted to do with my space already. So I was like, how can I do that more efficiently? I took and broke it up into sections. I gave each section speaking points, and here I am, nearly 200 episodes later, and my platform keeps growing and growing and growing. So now, that's, now that you're braced and prepared for it, I got it broke up into sections. Each section has a speaking point. I will describe each section as I come to them. And, we're going to have a great, nice show. And, the content will resonate with you. And it's, really easy to listen to. Nice, cohesive feel to it and digestible. That's why I broke it up into sections so you can digest the content better as a listener and, listen to it at your leisure. You don't have to clear your schedule to listen to my program. It's just bam, 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 bam. All my speaking points, almost like rapid fire, but not. And so just really easy to listen to. So that's why I did that. And now that you got a gist of it, a general feel for my content, I'm going to dive right into it right now. So first of all, it is, we're coming to a close for Black History Month, and I've been sharing Black History facts all Black History Month. So I added a Black History section, and we're at the Black History section to my podcast. I'm gonna be doing it all the way to the first week of March, because this is pretty much it's the 24th today, so it's pretty much the end of Black History Month. But I'm gonna go ahead on and do it to the first week, dropping them Black facts to the first week of March. But here we are at the Black History section of the Narrative Podcast, the Black History Facts section, and I'm starting it off with my very first Black History fact. So I'm starting off with Mr. Mark Hanna. He is the inventor of 3D graphic software. Mark Hanna is a world-renowned inventor, chief architect, co-founder of Silicon Graphics. He's really big in Silicon Valley. He's most recognized for his work, for his CGI work in Jurassic Park. So that's Black History Fact. Give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Mr. Mark Hanna and his contributions. My next inventor is one Mr. Frank S. Green. He is an electrical engineer, a teacher, and an avid civil rights advocate. He created a patent for integrated circuit board. He's a leader in semiconductor technology. Now, I just recently, if you tuned in Thursday, I just covered resistor, but a semiconductor is also a very important piece of electronics. And what they do is they regulate and they move, electricity throughout the board or to whatever device that you're powering, like whatever, the electronic device you have, that's how the power circulates through it is a semiconductor. So it's very important. And, he got the patent for that and he elevated and took it to the next level. All right. So my next Black History fact is about another inventor, one Mr. Philip. Bear with me because the brother is Nigerian. He got a Nigerian last name. I'm going to do my best. Mwagi. He was born in 1954. He has a PhD in scientific computing, and he created the world's fastest computer in 1989. He used 6,500 processors, and each of them, and their combined data accumulated to 3.1 calculations per second. And he came up with this idea just simply by observing bees. So he used that observation of like how bees, all work together in a the hive or whatever. And he kind of incorporated that idea into his invention. So yeah, give it up for Warm Narrative Podcast for Philip E. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. I'm going to just say Philip E. So those were three positive things about our history. And then I just wanted to give a brief sidebar. So if you was listening to my podcast on Thursday, there's been like a little quiet debate circulating around the conscious community is, celebrating Black History Month really frivolous? Are we like silly for doing it? And I already went into my whole spiel about why not. But I just want to point that out, like, Black history is history. So, whatever part of history that you don't like, it actually happened and we can actually learn from it. And I think the biggest part of our history people have a problem with, or people that have a problem with celebrating Black history, the biggest thing that they have a problem with is, the slavery part of our history. So in a sense, they are correct. Slavery doesn't define us as a people. Many of us did not come over here through slavery. Our history definitely did not begin with slavery. And our contributions to the slave trade were minimal at best, despite how, it's depicted in some, historical journals about, our involvement in the slave trade. But you got to remember also who was doing the recording. So of course they're not going to record it accurately. But said all that to say, you have to take positive with the negative with the positive. So like while we did have a whole lot of inventors, a whole lot of kings and queens and rulers, emperors, we had some dark times in our history too. And the dark time serves like all of our history as a learning thing, as a learning tool. We can learn from it. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from events of the past. You can't change them. You can't alter them. They already happened. The only thing you can do from history is just learn from it. And that's the whole purpose of Black History Month. So that's the perfect segue for my, lesser known negative things that's a part of our history as well. And I'm going to get right into those right now. So, are you familiar with the term blockbusting? Blockbusting was an actual ploy that land developers and mortgagers or people that would sell property. It's escaping me what they're called, their profession, but you know, mortgage companies would do to bring down the value of a house, so they can buy up pretty much the block, basically. Uh, and this is how they would do it. It's called blockbusting. It was a practice where the realtors, yeah, that's the word I was searching for. Realtors, these realtor agencies would use. They take and move black people into white neighborhoods to create an appearance of transition, causing people to move, thus driving down the property value. And after the property value goes down, then that's when the realtor companies would go in and buy up all the land. And this is kind of where the term got coined. Oops, there goes the neighborhood. Every time black person would move into a white neighborhood, there goes the neighborhood. That's where that term kind of originated from, blockbusting. And a method that the realtors would do, where they would go out to, Caucasian people already owning their own property and offer to buy their property and said, those a whole lot of N words, hard R, will be moving into this neighborhood when they're the ones that put them in the neighborhood to begin with. And, it's probably going to drive down your property value. If I was you, I would just go ahead on and sell my house now and get out while you can, because more and more of them guys are going to be moving in. They're going to be playing their N-word music and doing N-word stuff. So it was a popular practice that realtors would use from like the 50s on up into the early 80s. And then let's not also forget redlining as well. But I just wanted to talk about blockbusting in case you wasn't familiar with blockbusting was. And then my second lesser known negative Black history fact, and this is like very recent. This was in 1998, on August 23rd, 1998. Oh, I think I forgot to write his name down in my notes. Let me punch it up right quick. Forgot to write his last name down. But I do remember this case. I was like, yeah, we actually talked about this in school. Like this was a whole thing. The shooting death of this young brother. This happened in New York City. I forget which borough. I believe it was the Queensboro. Let me see. I'm trying to find his last name. I'm sorry, I'm taking so long. But I'm gonna just say his first name. I probably have to correct myself in a later episode. But I just forgot to write his last name down, or his first name, last name. But he was shot 30 times, or shot 2 times, excuse me, in the chest and chased by 30 white teenagers. This was in New York in like 1998. He was, it was a shooting death, but stuff like that, we don't have to go all the way back to, slave times to tell, how unfortunate or how we, were treated badly in this country, and kind of like nobody even remembers it. Let me see. I'm gonna try it one more time from the source I got it from. Okay. All right, I'm on the source, and let's see if it pops up for me. Come on. Trying to stay true to my own time limit, and I'm the one taking all long. I didn't have it down in the notes. Okay, I got it. Sorry. So it was Yusuf Hawkins. Sorry it took so long, but he was fatally shot after being taunted, chased by a mob of white youths in Burnhurst, Brooklyn. So it was in the Brooklyn borough. And I said 98, it was 89, so oh my bad. I was way off. I recorded that all wrong, but yeah, I do remember that. So it's like three friends that went out to a party. He was dating a white chick at the time, and one of these dudes had got jealous because she rejected him. He like wanted to go out with her. He rejected him, and so like he got like 29 of his buddies because he evidently was going up into the neighborhood, and like the rest is history. They chased him, and did what they did. So that was our negative Black History facts. And, the purpose of me sharing those was to, we can never ever let them forget things like that, because they'll change and alter history and sweep things under the rug. And, that's what Black history is all about. The preservation of truth, the things that really actually factually happened. That's why we celebrate that. So we got to take the negative with the positive as well, because the negative things will teach us for future generations what to do and what not to let happen all over again. All right, now diving into my very first section of the Narrator podcast. There was a newly added section that was just for the purpose of, this month, Black History Month. Sorry I took so long with the, getting the information. I just didn't have it recorded down in the notes. Anyway, starting things off with the very first section of the Narrator podcast is the promo section. In this section, what I'm doing is offering original people, owners that own and operate their own businesses, to reach out to me and get their business product or service promoted 110% for free. I'm not charging any money, and the purpose of me doing this is to help the original people dollar circulate in the original people community with the anticipation, that they're going to expand their business. They're going to, hire more of their own, going to do community outreach, do for the community that they're rooted in, and leave something for future generations. So to reach out to me for, free promotion, hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host, subject bar type promo, body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, or service, so I can plug it, give you a proper introduction, and plug, whatever you got going on that needs plugged. And again, I'm not charging any money. And just hit me up at passionwebmail, poeticpassion.host, in the subject bar type promo, and I'll gladly promote whatever you got going on. All right, on to my next section, which is the contest section. In this section, what I'm doing is, I'm having an incentive contest to keep on listening to my platform, and also to tap in with my audience, some interactive type of stuff, to tell me who's participating, or try to get you to participate in the content until I get a hotline and all that. Some ways to directly interact with you. But if you enter this contest, I know you've been listening to the content. So to enter the contest, just hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. The way I'm separating the two is through the subject bars for the contest. It's called the Chew on This contest. And what I'm doing here is giving you a bulk supply of your favorite snack simply by participating in the contest topic. And the contest topic is share your most recent shopping while Black experience. So to enter the contest, hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host, subject bar, chew on this, /or - shopping while Black. If you don't want to type the entire word shopping while Black, you can type SWB in all caps. And in the body of the email, tell me, your mailing address so I know where to send your prize. Share with me your most recent shopping while Black experience. And then also, of course, tell me what type of snack you would like. And I get that to you. I'm not charging, any money, no entrance fee money. It's 110% free. I don't want anything from you. I'm not trying to get your information. I'm not trying to scam you. None of that. Just, it's just incentive to keep on listening to my content, keep on participating in the content. And that's it, and that's all. And to enter, hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. Body of the email, or in the subject bar, type shopping while Black / or - shopping while Black, or SWB in all caps. Body of the email, mailing address, your most recent shopping while Black experience, and then tell me what type of snack you would like, and I'll gladly send that to you. And I'm not charging anything, so you have nothing to lose, only something to gain. That's it for that section, and on to my very first section of the Narrator podcast. Those two were just kind of like the warm up round. We just, they are sections, but not like real authentic sections. Like, this is like to get it going. This is like the actual section, the very first section. I guess I would call them pre-sections, if that makes any sense. But here it goes, like the meat, the core of my content. This is the highlight section. And what I'm doing in the highlight section is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated by original men and original women. And the purpose of me doing that is to provide a positive frame of reference about entrepreneurialism, and to also convey how important it is to, support original people-owned businesses, to support each other, because we are due reparations, but until we get it, we have to support each other's business. In this section, what I'm attempting to do is basically just lay out the whole story, their whole journey, how they came up with the idea, where they got the funding for it. I'm just trying to give you the whole transitional journey. And the purpose of me doing it is to inspire you to do it as well if you really got that in your heart to want to start your own business, because we don't have any positive frames of reference about entrepreneurialism. Like, we don't have no reality television shows about starting your own business. All we got reality television shows is about us being in expensive restaurants and clubs and yelling at each other and calling each other niggas and bitches on camera and fighting each other on camera. We don't have no, reality television shows about us doing something positive. So that's why I'm doing this section. That's what I'm hoping to joke, trying to like X the word hope out of my vocabulary, but that's my, intention to share with you, to convey, the positive frame of reference about entrepreneurialism, starting your own business, doing for self, and just showing you that these people, they didn't have it all together. They didn't know what they was doing when they first started. It was just like you, working 9-to-5 jobs. They didn't have it figured out. They just stepped on faith. Also, the types of people I highlight, they also do for the community. They hire their own. Many of them are family owned and operated. So that's the positive. That's the frame of reference about generational wealth. So it's going to be here for future generations. The ones that's family owned and operated. So they hire their own. They also do some type of outreach to the community, some type of philanthropy. They either have their own nonprofit organization or pay into one and offer, goods and services to the community as well. It's just, as opposed to just being about me and mine, having that me and mine mentality. So that's, the types of businesses that I feature in my highlight section and what the highlight section is about. So now that you know, one more qualifying factor, they align up with my theme. Okay, so now that you know what the highlight section is about, I'm going to dive right into it right now. All right, so it is, or was February, the month of February. When I had first started the highlight section, I said, let me gear up, let me do some sections or give you some episodes about the Valentine's Day. But in my calculations, I forgot like how short, the month of February was, and Valentine's Day was only one day. So it's been here and gone. I think the last thing I gave you was like to gear up for a Valentine's Day date or a quiet evening in was like the meal prep. So like something you can do at home with a significant other, enjoy a meal prep meal together. I think that was my last episode on that. So, with this month being almost over, I said like, well, let me do a national day. Let me do a national day and a company that you can go by to support the national day. So, the national day, yesterday, well, I wasn't on yesterday. That's why I'm not. But that was my logic behind the national day. So, like the 24th was a National Tortilla Day, Tortilla Chip Day. So that was my logic in selecting the businesses. So I try to find original people owned and operated a tortilla chip, and wasn't too successful. So I decided just do chips. And so I'll be highlighting two businesses um, that specializes in potato chips. Um, so sidebar: an original man invented potato chips, a man by the name of Mr. George Speaks, aka George Crumb, in 1853. All right. So the first potato chip company I will be highlighting in the highlight section today comes to you from a Mr. DeAndre Anderson and his two daughters, Amina and Armari, and the name of the company is Symphony Chips. Um, the business was established in 2010. The web address is www.symphonychips.com. And basically, here's how they came up with the idea. DeAndre was already a chef by trade, went to school for it, classically trained. So he wanted to launch his own brand of seasonings, and he did, called A's Spice Seasonings. And what he was doing was going out to all these, places, grocery stores, what have you, airports, grocery stores, what have you, all along the Vegas Strip, just sampling, trying to get people to sample his seasonings. And he would sprinkle his product on raw veggies, popcorn, and of course, his own homemade chips. Now it seems like, everybody loved the chips. Like out of all the stuff he was, sprinkling the product on, people were just always asking, where can you get the chips? So, he decided to just focus on the chips rather than the seasonings. So, thus, Symphony Chips was born. So like I said, I'm giving you the positive frame of reference. It's a family owned and operated business. He's in business with his two daughters. The business does all kinds of philanthropy. They do a whole lot of giving back. They definitely hire their own and all the, facilities that manufacture their brand. So definitely go check them out. See what they're all about. Symphony Chips. Support Symphony Chips. Support George Sparks. DeAndre Anderson and his daughters Amina and Amari. My bad. I keep on fumbling the names. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. But yeah. Let's give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for DeAndre and his daughters and Symphony Chips. Now this next snack is a legend, a monster. We should all be acquainted with this brand, particular brand here. Like they're literally everywhere, and it inspired other people to create their own brand using, their own likeness, but to create their own brand for this particular chip. So it should be apparently obvious where I'm going with this, but if you don't know or if you never heard about it, Rap Snacks. It is originally owned and operated. It's an original man that invented that. He's one by the name Mr. James Lindsay in 1994. He started off as a branding consultant. He attended Cheyenne University, spanned the line in 201 with a brand called Mr. G's. And, he's just been doing big things in the industry ever since. So it's essentially like he got rappers on his bag. Everybody knows about the, hip hop, how influential that culture is, and like people, gravitate towards it. I know I was a big Rap Snacks fan when it first came out, or when I first came out to me in my neck of the woods. We didn't get them until like almost the mid 90s. It came out in 94, like it didn't come about to my neck of the woods until like a young, like darn near 2000. It was like 97, 98 by the time they came in my neck of the woods. And let me tell you, like one of my favorite flavors used to be like I think I like the Mac 10 flavor. Warren G had a flavor. Who else did I like? Can't remember. It was so long ago. I don't eat potato chips at all anymore. Hardly. I mean, for like vegan snacks and stuff. I'm trying to stay away from the processed food, but yeah. I didn't mean to get all sidetracked or nostalgic on you, but I'm just telling you like how long they've been around. But he didn't have a clear idea of what he wanted to do. He was selling chips, like he was just selling regular chips on the side when he was doing all these jobs. He never thought to like use rappers' images, but he also did. He was like out of New Jersey. He knew Meek Mill exclusively. They had an intimate relationship or whatever, like really close to Meek Mill. He also did a time where he was did a stint as a talent scout or a consultant in hip hop. So he used that to kind of platform off into building the brand and came up with the idea of using artists on the bag to sell his brand. And he's been around ever since. So yeah, that's definitely innovative. Definitely leveled up the game for like snacking. And like I said, he inspired a whole host of other artists, and now all the new artists, like they got their own brand. Like Boozy, he got his own brand, not affiliated with the Rap Snack brand. So yeah. Give a warm narrative podcast up for Mr. James Lindsay and the Rap Snacks brand. And you can find those everywhere. They're in like Walmart, gas stations and everywhere now. Very easy to find. So, you know, get your snack on, go get you some rap snacks. Then on to my next section. This section is called the Spotlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting prominent figures within our own community, and they're ranging from like multiple uh, fields such as acting, recording industry, recording artists, actors, actresses, directors, producers. I've also highlighted or spotlighted, religious figures, public figures, comedians, athletes, just basically anybody that got a public platform, a public following, um, in the eye of the public that addresses our issues or is like a real good representation of us. Um, and what I'm hoping to, or what I'm attempting to do in this section is create the healthy habit of just basically saying something positive about your brother and something positive about your sister. That's what I'm going for. It's the thing that I'm going to inspire people to do. And not for nothing, I've actually done it. Because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, nobody on the internet, YouTube, anywhere, was spotlighting anyone. Now every time you turn on the TV, or like wherever you get your podcast from, or your favorite YouTube channel, now everybody got a spotlight section. Like this week, we will be spotlighting so and so and so and so, such and such and such and such. And nobody was spotlighting anybody until I added the spotlight section to my podcast. And I'm not salty at all. That's kind of the goal, to create the wave of saying something nice about your brother and your sister instead of hurling insults, roasting them, dragging them all up and down social media for likes and clicks and views, going back and forth with people and just, airing the dirty laundry out and, being negative online as opposed to just, embracing each other as a people. Because, we are the only people that do that. They've, brainwashed us into believing I gotta put you down in order to get the bag. I gotta say something negative about you to get the bag. I gotta talk bad about you. I have to be your enemy to get the bag. And so essentially what they've done with this social media is use social media to turn us against each other, basically. Everybody at odds for the bag. We don't gotta be at odds to get the bag. You don't gotta pretend you like somebody that you don't like, but at the same time, you shouldn't be going on YouTube announcing you don't like so and so and such and such, or going on their social media account and picking at them on their social media account, saying something under their post, and you know how it goes. We ain't gotta do all that. We don't have to play that game. We can just, be nice, be cordial to each other, and we ain't got to get all out of character to get a bag. No, we don't. But anyway, today's spotlight is a brother that's just an epitome for no excuses. He had a raw deal in life early on, He started I think he had criminal convictions at age 10. Uh, he got incarcerated at age 17 and spent like 20 years behind bars and came home with fire in his belly um, and not with the ambition of not being told what to do anymore because he had 20 years of being told what to do, when to do it. If you ever been to jail, you know what it is. Um, so he wanted to be his own man when he got home. Of course, he was an ex-convict. Nobody's gonna hire him with his record. So he's like, well, I'm gonna just, I'm gonna find a way. And the way he found was social media. He took, the device everybody got in their possession, and as they say, the rest is history. Went viral. Started doing these little motivational videos, and he's just been going on and on ever since. Not worrying about how he comes across and who gets him and who don't get him, and he's always dropping gems and pearls of wisdom and really genuine and authentic person. Wears his thoughts to a T, and comes across to me as genuine. In a world of fakeness, he comes across as genuine. I see it's a genuine reaction. It doesn't seem his thing that he does online. It doesn't seem contrived. It doesn't reek of effort. It doesn't, as the young people say, cap. I don't believe he's capping when he's in front of that camera. So if you don't know, the person I'm speaking of is Wallow267, aka Wallace People. So I just gave his background. Nothing pulled it up on Wiki. So I had to just go into just what I admire him because, on the spotlight section, I usually give the whole person's background. And other than him going to jail, nothing really popped up about it other than being incarcerated. So, that's what I try to give in the spotlight section, your educational background, where they went to school, how they grew up, hobbies and this, that, and the third. But hey, it's just what you see is what you get. He been doing motivational videos, got out, started doing motivational videos, started doing videos with his rapper blood cousin, Gilly the Kid. They go back and forth, and they are hilarious together. They actually make me feel nostalgic because that's their relationship they got is the exact same relationship I had with my cousin, whom is now deceased. We used to go back and forth like that all the time, they go back and forth on camera. That's how me and my deceased cousin used to go back and forth. We was a cut up like that. But he's definitely worthy of the spotlight section, all about giving people the roses while they're here, saying something positive about them, and recognizing them for all they do. He's not really big into, politics. So I can't really say I heard him speak on the cause, but he definitely is what's needed for the cause. That truth, that genuine, that sincerity, that self accountability. I would say I give him that title. I would say he's like a poster boy for self accountability. He never tried to. Even though he had a raw deal in life, he never tried to be like the white man and, the teacher and the this and the that. He just hey, it's effed up, life's effed up, I don't want my life to be effed up. So I'm gonna take full accountability for me, and I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. And he did this, that, and the third, and he still continued to elevate, still continuing to rise and inspire, create opportunity, whatever opportunity he can, and and just share what knowledge he and has accumulated over the years, in his experiences. And it's just like it's gotten him this far, and like I can just see him just keep rising, new opportunity after new opportunity after new opportunity. So I've definitely absorbed a few gems from him. So yeah, he's definitely worthy of the spotlight. Give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Mr. Wallace People, aka Wallow. All right, and on to my next section. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm giving tips about health and wellness. And the reason I believe I need to do that for my people is because we're under fire for so much. They're putting things in the air, putting things in our food, water, daily like household items we use every single day, like air freshener, detergent, fabric softener, dish soap, whatever you clean your house with. They're putting harmful chemicals that are like specifically designed to mess with our unique genetic makeup. In addition to that, they're also bombarding us with all this trauma online, which affects your immune system. It affects your immune system in the way of weakening it by, seeing all this, trauma-laden things. And so, that's how illnesses kind of spread throughout the body, or diseases. Your diet makes up a large part of, your health, but what also makes up an even larger part of your health is your mindset. So we got people programming us and conditioning us to how to feel a certain way about us and how to view ourselves. And, it messes with your subconscious, it messes with your psyche, and then it messes with your overall health. And then it'll weaken your immune system. And then all these little illnesses or diseases will occur in your body. Because illness sets in when your mind is at dis-ease. That's why they call them diseases. But we're constantly bombarded with the negativity. And like I said, they're putting all these things in our food, air, and water that, attack our specific, unique genetic makeup. So, it ain't no conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy reality. We're really living it. You dig? So, what I'm doing in this section is basically giving tips how to stay armored up mentally, physically, and spiritually, because health is wealth, and we want to be in it for the long run. So, just tips and nuggets like that, how to stay, how to keep your immune system fortified from all three of those areas. So in this section, like you might hear something physical, like something you can eat to maintain your body's vitality. So you might hear like the health benefits of, a fruit, a vegetable, a plant or herb extract, or some type of physical exercise you can do to maintain your physical health, to stay in good health, to stay in good, cardiovascular shape, to stay in good, respiratory, breathing, heart rate, and all that. Um, or something for on the mental side of it, something you can do to keep your mind sharp, such as like mindful breathing, meditation, reading, stuff like that for mental health, and then spiritual, praying and meditating, which is also can go coincide with the on the mental side of it as well. Um, and then sidebar, like prayer is a form of meditation if you didn't know that. But yeah, so I'm just trying to keep you covered mentally, physically, and spiritually with the tips in the health and wellness section. And so without no further ado, today's health and wellness tip is the health benefits of the fruit cantaloupe. So if you're not familiar with cantaloupe, it's just like small melon with, a bumpy surface. Find them in grocery stores. You can definitely grow them outside. I don't believe they're a hybrid. It's like, they grow bigger in other regions. Um, they are rich in fiber. They're rich in vitamin C, rich in potassium, have folic acid. Um, they help rejuvenate your electrolytes. They help lower blood pressure. So because they're rich in fiber, they're also good for dietary purposes. That's why people on diets, tend to eat cantaloupe. It's an appetite suppressant. That fiber is an appetite suppressant. So you eat less. So you can eat a few slices and you won't, suppress the urge to want to snack. And it's also a good source of hydration. It keeps you hydrated. It keeps your cells hydrated. It's very rich in water content. Helps lower your blood pressure as well. So it's good all around. It tastes really sweet. It's a sustainable food source. It has seeds, so you can definitely grow your own. And the seeds has health benefits as well. They're jam-packed with health benefits as well. So about the only thing you can't do with water cantaloupe, you can't eat the rind. I mean, you can, but then why would you? Because it's fibrous. It's like, I suppose you can dry it out and make a powder out of it. Or you can use it for mulch. If you're a grower, you own your own property and you grow, you can save it for mulch. But yeah, other than that, it's totally edible, organic. You can use it. You can use it topically as well. Probably blend it up. And use it for a hair mask if you have hair. But yeah, that's the health and wellness section, and the health benefit of the day is the health benefits of cantaloupe. Go get you some cantaloupe in your life. All right, on to my speaking point of the day. Or my next section, excuse me, I got a little ahead of myself. I didn't even tell you what the section was. My next section is the speaking point of the day. And then my speaking point of the day is usually current news, breaking news, something pertaining, to us, specifically in our community. If it's not, specifically within our community, it's just in the event if I can't find any breaking news, it's like a PSA, things I notice about our community, or just a hot button issue we have in our community, or just, observation about us as a people. And by saying us, I mean me as well. And so I think today is one of those days. I mean, there's nothing really super duper pressing going on in the media right now. A whole lot of it is just gossip, and I don't do gossip on my platform. So I'm gonna just dive in with a observation or just a something kind of controversial within our culture. Um, you know, um, today's topic, speaking point of the day, is discipline. Uh, and speaking like the way we discipline our children. Is it actually discipline, or is it like a throwback to slave times? Is it slavish? Because sometimes I sit and think about to myself, um, a lot of things I hear parents say is like things like slave owners used to say to their slaves, like, sit up, look at me, boy, when I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? And it's like, are we disciplining our children, or are we just like on a subconscious level reenacting slavery when we discipline our children? Now, some people might argue, the way the youth act today is because they're not getting disciplined at all. They're walking around being disrespectful because, they're not spanking, or as we say within our culture, whooping them, or, because it's like within the discipline, because can it get carried away? Because I know some people that say, successful people like lawyers and doctors and stuff that say they used to get, whipped with extension cords and bats or just whatever mom or dad could get their hand on at the time, and they attribute to that to their success being the man or woman that they are today. But then within that is some type of trauma, because like on the inverse of it, you go to their spouse or whoever, their significant other they're with, they're crying at night, crying in their sleep, or they're withdrawn because they used to get yelled at so much as a child. They're like withdrawn or introverted. They don't like large crowds. They're really squeamish when they hear somebody yelling. Um, so it's like, I guess what I'm getting at, are we disciplining our child, or we're just taking on the characteristics of the slave owner, even though it's been hundreds of years ago, like it's ingrained into us to do that. Because we accept it in our culture, we say, that's normal in our households to get whoopings, like with brooms and bats and extension cords and just whatever your parent or whoever is raising you can get have in their hands at the time that what you did, whatever you did. And not saying like I didn't suffer like that. I did get spankings, but it wasn't never come from a single parent household raised by my mom. I can honestly say I never got a bat. I never got a broom handle. Um, I just got a belt. I got a belt and switches. Um, Never got punched. Never got slapped in the face. Well, yeah, I did get slapped in the mouth once, but caught myself. But like a whole lot of people like got really like, oh, my mama used to do this and that. And, like we glorify that within our culture. And like I said, a lot of people say, I don't have any children of my own, but I've, been instrumental in raising some children within my family. And they love and respect me for that, my involvement in their life. Um, but it's like, are we doing what I'm getting at is like, are we doing a disservice to our youth with, that intense level of discipline? Is there a better way to get through to them. Because, a lot of single mothers, this is where the stereotype of black women being loud. Because like a lot of single sisters who are doing it all by themselves, and then my mom's deceased, but they don't realize when they're being loud. It's like, cause when I'm asking them and I'm telling them nicely, they don't do it. And you've been yelling at your children so loud that that modulation in your voice, you don't realize when you're yelling. So I know a whole bunch of people say they done got choked and punched in the back, and but they, the people that did that went on to be super successful in life, CEOs and running their own businesses and all that. But I'm just trying to get at, is it a better way? Is it a better way than hangers, extension cords? Because, not saying we're the only people that spank our children. Because, in Asian culture, it's the chopstick. Spanish culture is the chancla. What is it, chancleta? I said chanclata. But, what is too much? Do we want to see the eyeball on the floor, or, because is it almost, because a lot of the way some of our children is getting disciplined is like borderline abuse, So that was my speaking point of the day. I don't have a definitive answer. I'm just putting out in the atmosphere. Is just something I noticed within our culture is the way we're disciplining our children. Is it effective? Is it really? Because I know a whole lot of successful people, they attribute their whoopings to their success. They're a whole lot of celebrities, comedians, actors, within their sets, they be yeah, my mom used to whoop my ass and da 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 da, and and it's celebrated within our culture. Getting a spanking means your parents loves you. I mean, one of our greatest sitcoms. Well, I got mixed emotions about it. The cast got mixed emotions about it. Norman Lear with himself, but Good Times. They had the spanking episode. Father James spanked a visitor. And then on the inverse of that, Janet Jackson's character, Penny, was getting abused by her mother. They had kept on seeing little bruises and whatnot. But that kind of happens to a lot of us, and I'm just wondering, are we disciplining our children, in the spirit of the ancestors, our ancestors, or are we disciplining them in the spirit of the oppressors, the way we're disciplining our children? Because can you correct problems by, because another people in a profession where they correct a problem by whooping something frowned upon is pimping. That's how they correct they employees. They smack the hell out of them. They deliver correction When she speak out of turn, daddy will smack her. When she get to looking at somebody other than him, daddy will smack her. So, that's just my point, just an observation that I noticed within our community is that, like, are we disciplining correctly? Are we disciplining with our ancestors? Like, are we in line with our ancestors the way we're disciplining our children, or are we aligning with, the spirits of, the oppressors, how they used to discipline us? All right, that's it for the speaking points of the day. And on to my very last section of the Narrative Podcast. This section is called My Final Thought. Final thought, aka the final word. It's just a gem, a pearl, wisdom, an observation, just something to inspire critical thinking, something inspirational, motivational. Just something to resonate with you. My last thought of the day, just something to have you ponder. And my final thought of the day is face it. Our final word for day, phrase, word, thought. I'm still kind of struggling with the title. I don't know if I want to call it final thought or final word. But anyway, the last thing of the last order of business for today. Face it. It's like a lot of times we procrastinate, like we put things off and don't deal with things. Like whatever it is, positive or negative, it's going to happen. Like worrying about it's not going to change it. Avoiding it's definitely not going to change it. So whatever it is, you got to face it. Like if you know you got a bill coming up, you better pay it. You got to face it. If you're in a relationship and it's something that you know is going to devastate the other person, but you got to tell them, like you got to face it. Like you can't keep on avoiding them every time you see them or avoiding talking to them because whatever you're going to lay on them is going to hurt their feelings, but you got to face it. So you can't run away from the problems. You can't put the problem off. You can't sidestep the issue. You have to face it. Like if it's something you're scared of, like, I don't know, going to the doctor. Some people are scared of going to the doctor. If you're in pain, there's degrees. There's divine healing, but everybody's not at the divine level to receive the divine healing because your body can heal itself, but everybody ain't there yet. So for those that have to go to the physician, like just because you don't go ain't going to make it go away. Whatever you're ailing from, you got to face it. You got to face whatever is staring down the barrel at you. Whether it's a disagreement, whether it's, good news, bad news, you got to face it. You got to face facts at all times. Like you might not want to hear it, but you got to face it. You might not want to believe it, but you got to face it. You might not want to do it, but you gotta face it. So that's my final thought of the day. That's it and that's all. Thank you for listening kindly today. And I just know you're going to join me next weekend for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. I also go live one time during the weekday to avoid missing me when I'm live. Tune in regularly. You can follow me on YouTube and click that subscription button and the bell notification, and you won't miss me when I'm live, because the platform that I'm on transmits directly to YouTube when I'm live, and it also transmits directly to Twitter when I'm live. So you can follow me on YouTube or Twitter, and I'm Halsey Allen on both, and you will never miss me when I'm on either when you're on either one. So you'll always be in the loop of when I'm doing a live one. What else I got going on? Make sure you go online to the Poetizer bookstore and purchase my book, The Black Card. It's a book of poetry, 30 poems, really good read. The book itself, hardback, very sleek design, portable, you can take anywhere. Very practical, very creative. The title really kind of says it all, but check it out for yourself. It's titled The Black Card. It's available only at the Poetizer bookstore. So go online to the Poetizer bookstore and snag you a copy of my book, The Black Card. And then also I write poetry. I got a personal poetry blog called hallziespoetrycorner. You can visit it at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. And the way you support that is just basically share it to all your platforms, any one poem or all my poems from Hallzies Poetry Corner on all your platforms. And of course, you know, this is a Narrator podcast. I'm asking you to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast. You can also like and share them as well. But the main thing that gets me paid is the download. So make sure every time you tune in and listen to it, you download the episode. So yeah, that's it and that's all, y'all. Thanks for tuning in and checking me out. Join me next weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. And then make sure you're tuning in regularly so you don't miss me when I go live on the weekday. I never know which day that I go live, so you got to tune in regularly. It's just random spur, but it's been Thursdays pretty consistently, but Monday through Thursday basically, because I do it on the weekend, so I never want to do one on Friday because I don't want the episodes to overlap. But Monday through Thursday, definitely just tune in regularly. You never know when I'm going to go live. And that'll do it. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of the Narrative Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, and I'm encouraging you to change the episode one social media post at a time. Till next time, Halsey Allen and Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.